What if I told you that the story of Jesus Christ of Nazareth wasn't unique? Hello! The Rev here, and I've got a treat for you folks this month. This month we're doing Real Talk. We're going to be touching on some controversial issues that maybe you don't like to hear about, and a couple of them that I don't even really like talking about. But I feel that we need to cover this stuff. It's time to get serious. And it may be a slight plug for more views, but regardless. This week, we're discussing the story of Jesus Christ in comparative mythology, essentially saying that the story of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, as we know it in the Bible, shares a lot of similarities with other stories in mythology. The two big ones that I know for certain in my research are the stories of Dionysus and Horus, who both were born from a virgin birth. They died, they were resurrected. In Dionysus' case, he had a big attachment turning wine into water, and was born on December 25th, had 12 followers, rode a donkey in his ministry. There's a lot of stuff there. Horus was called the Son of God, born, died, was resurrected. His birth was signaled by a star. There's a lot of stuff, and there's a bunch of other stories. Now, what does that mean? Well, a bunch of people who studied this a lot longer than I have and much smarter than me argue about it. The biggest case made that it doesn't really hold up to scholarly criticism, essentially saying that correlation does not equal causation. Just because there are similarities doesn't really mean anything. Does that mean that Jesus was real? Well, the biggest studies on the subject bring up two big points. One, first century Galilean Jews would have no ear for outside pagan stories of a Messiah. They wouldn't buy in. The second is that there are several non-biblical accounts of a man named Jesus of Nazareth who traveled in that region and preached gospel. So, is it absolute conclusive evidence? The debate's still out, but I'd like to think that Jesus Christ was a real man. Though I will say that I think his message is more important than whether or not he was an actual flesh and blood person. Figure if he's the Son of God, what he's got to say is a little more important than whether or not he wandered around the area of Galilee. So what does that mean to you? Well, it can mean whatever you want it to mean. I have some links down below in the description of some of the research I've done. There's a movie trilogy out called Zeitgeist. I suggest you check that out. Whether or not you agree with all this stuff is fine. I say check it out just because it brings up some really neat stuff to think about. So, like, subscribe, share, stick around this entire month. We're going to cover some hard-hitting issues. I think we're all going to have some fun, hopefully. Some of you might get angry, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. I want to bring these up so we can talk about them. Again, like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below, leave your suggestions of what we might talk about later. And remember, folks, keep the faith and keep smiling.